For more, we can now bring in Carla Colomé Santiago, a Cuban journalist based in the U.S. Carla, thank you so much for being with us. Now, I understand you were part of the entourage that greeted Alcántara when he arrived in Miami. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for having me here, giving voice to Alcántara and all of Cuban political prisoners. And yes, I had the opportunity to participate yesterday in the afternoon in the welcome ceremony to Alcántara in Miami International Airport, where a lot of activists, Cuban exiles, a lot of friends of Alcántara gathered to welcome him, to stay with him in his arrival from prison, because it's fair to say that he was released and sent to Miami from his prison and into exile. It was. On one hand, it was all of us were so happy to see Alcántara free, but on the other hand, it's bittersweet because he had to spend his last 5 years in prison just for freedom for Cuban. And today he is now living in Miami. He was expelled from his country, and it's always a tragedy for us as a community, for us as Cubans.
Now, Carla, what does his exile from Cuba mean for the opposition?
Well, I have to say that it's a fight because of course that the goal of Cuban government is to how can I say to fight against the opposition. Today, Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara isn't the only one political prisoner in Cuba. We have more than 1,000 people in jail because political reasons. And it's always a sadness to see that the only option that have Cubans now is the prison or the exile. And it's so important to put light on this kind of events, on this kind of things, because if you could say, he is now free, he's in Miami, he could enjoy of the freedom, and of course he can. But on the other hand, it's a tragedy as a community, because we want to stay in our country, we want to fight for our rights, we want to fight against Cuban government, and but beyond that, we are so happy to welcome Alcántara in exile.
Now, Carla, you mentioned their political prisoners. Amnesty International had designated him a prisoner of conscience, but of course, the Cuban government says there are no political prisoners. So how does the regime target dissidents?
Well, of course, that he is a prisoner of conscience, a political prisoner, because he didn't choose to go to prison. The Cuban government was by him when he was trying to participate in a protest in 2021, we had it on our country, one of the most important and inedited, and on the other hand, the most largest protest. And when Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara was trying to participate in this protest, he was detained by Cuban government. And of course, that he didn't choose that, and he was condemned to 5 years just for trying to ask more artistic freedom, individual freedom for him and for all Cubans. And he had to spend 5 years in prison, and it's not an option that he chose. He was the option that Cuban government gave him.
Carla, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. That's Carla Colomé Santiago, Cuban journalist based